Right, how've your first couple of days been, Chris?
Yeah, hectic. Excited about the challenge ahead. As I've said in the my first interview with the club, a lot of work to be done. Great fit both ways, in my opinion. And delighted to get back into work, really, because obviously it's been a while. But excited about the challenge ahead.
How was the break? What have you learned during that time out of management?
That my golf don't get any better the more I play. Yeah, I think, as I've said in a couple of interviews since, Mark, in terms of reflection, of course, you got to look in the mirror, not out the window, as somebody once told me. So I definitely did that. I've enjoyed the first part of the break, but I think as soon as, the start of pre-season and people getting back into work and getting amongst it, and the games are coming out thick and fast, and then obviously moving on to the start of the season, that's where I've always been. I've always wanted to be. But as I've said as well in interviews, it was really important that that my choice was the correct one for me. Going into a club that was aligned to my values and my philosophies and principles, and stature as well. I thought I deserved that opportunity after what we've achieved through my career, and especially recently. That it was a really important decision, and delighted when I got the call from Steve to have a chat about the position at Middlesbrough.
And was that, when you talk about what you wanted and stature of club and all the rest of it, when you did get the call from Steve Gibson, was it a club, an idea that felt right straight away, or did it take a little bit of getting used to this idea?
Straight away. I've known the history of the football club, the character and the people of the area that support the football club, and I think as a lot of people in the game will tell you, the relationship between owner and a manager is so important. And I think that what Steve's done for the area, for the football club over a long period of time, the fantastic facilities that we're working at, the ground's great, modern feel, and what he's done previously as well. So there was a lot of things that really I was excited about in terms of wanting to come to Middlesbrough. So it was straight away, and as well I think as you talk about chairman and reputation in the game, and the standing of the owner in the game as a solid owner that lets you get on and manage within a structure that he's put together. I know there's a lot of talk, and I don't know what the word is, what we're looking for, about me, wanting to, absolutely run everything. Well, it was complete nonsense, absolute nonsense. I just wanted to work with good people who had the same vision and ideas and ethics of how I see a football club running. And Steve and Kieran Scott, who has been brought in to be director of football, and Neil Bowser, the chief exec, we're all on the same page for that going forward.
And just on that then, this will be, I think, the first time you have worked with the director of football, won't it? So how will that relationship work? How do you see it all happen?
For me, they're just titles. They're just titles, whether it's a chief exec, whether it's a chairman stroke chief exec, or it's a chairman, they're all titles, in terms of our relationship. Of course, we the reason that, thankfully, that I've been chosen as the new Middlesbrough manager is because they like what I've done in the past and like my work in my past, whether it's my personality or the way that the team has played or what I've done previously. There's obviously a reason why they wanted me, and vice versa. The reason that I felt this was a great opportunity for me as well. So working closely with people to make the club better on every front.
What's your immediate priority then? What are you trying to do straight away?
Well, quickly, I think one of the things that has given me ability to do is and I knew that possibly my next job was going to be in the Championship. So watched a lot of games over the period. got a feel of the Championship, quickly looking through Middlesbrough's games and players as well. You know a lot about the boys, and there's some very, very talented players here at the football club, and getting to know them, putting the early messages down through meetings with staff, with players, and implementing our ideas onto the football pitch as quickly as we possibly can. We've had a great training session, first day training session today, so we had a meeting. We talked about my core values and principles, what I expect of them, not just from a technical and tactical point of view, from a physical and a mentality point of view as well. So and off and running, and we're a little bit limited in terms of the numbers today, because of internationals being away, and a couple of injuries. But we've got the maximum out of today's session. I'm delighted what I've seen.
And just lastly from me, obviously Middlesbrough fans will know what your teams have looked like in the past, particularly in the same division at Sheffield United. What's your vision for Middlesbrough, or what will your Middlesbrough team look like, you think, or want it to look like?
Well, I want us to be aggressive, I want us to be competitive, I want us to go and express ourselves, compete and play in the right way, play effective football. There's all different ways of winning a football match, so we're not pigeonholed to playing in one way. We have to be versatile, but effective, and trust what we're doing is going to be good enough to win football matches. It's still a tough division, even though I think, as I talked about, there's some teams at the top that I think we can safely say are favourites to, unless the wheels fall off, which can happen, but are really in really good positions. And I think it's open. It's as open as it's ever been, from possibly 3 down to 6. And I think, obviously, from the situation recently, you win 3 games and you put yourself up to 6, and you lose a couple, and you're down to 14th. So it's a very inconsistent league. So for me, finding that consistency in performance, finding that consistency in results, and having a structure in and out of possession that takes the game to teams, and hopefully we can go and win some games of football.
Good luck with it.
Thanks very much, Mark.
Keith Downey Scout.
Hey, Keith.
Hiya, Chris, how you doing?
Have you quickly got home, Keith? Because I've just seen you all the time, mate, in one position.
I need a sleep. I tell you what, I need a few months out of the game. Never mind you. I'm absolutely knackered. Listen, congratulations on the new job.
Thank you.
I'm guessing you've had other options and other opportunities over the last little while. And if that is the case, why Middlesbrough?
Well, as I've just said, Keith, the historically, the ambition of the owner still, after being in the game a long time and having success in the Premier League, it's a difficult gig, being an owner of a football club. One where there's an expectation on, but as I said, it ticks a lot of boxes for me, from the facilities, from the fan base, from the ambition of the owner, from the current group of players, and where the club wants to take the team. I met with the owner, and that was interesting as well, because you go into that meeting thinking, how is the owner going to be, because he's had incredible success in terms of where Middlesbrough were when they were shutting the gates to get into UEFA Cup finals, and to being a regular in the Premier League, and then unfortunately coming out of there and dipping in and then dipping out again, and not quite managing to have the success that really it should be having. You wonder what his appetite for it is. What is that appetite for it all is? And I've got to say, he was incredibly positive and eager and ambitious to get back into the big time. And that's I've had a small taste of it, and know how tough the Championship is, and love the Championship. But being in that big league is the place to be, and he wants to get back in there, and he'll do whatever he can, and we will all do whatever we can to get back in there.
You mentioned the word expectation a couple of times there. It feels as though already, and I'm not putting pressure on you, but it feels like there's a bit of an expectation on you. Everyone who's spoken about this appointment in the last couple of days have said that's an excellent appointment by Middlesbrough. So can the Middlesbrough supporters hope or expect that you can do what you did with Sheffield United?
Yeah, I've got to climb another mountain. That's what it's all about. And I wouldn't be sat here if I didn't think we could do it. But it's going to take time. I'm not asking for patience because we want to win football games, and people will turn up next Saturday and expect us to beat Millwall and put performance on a result. So that's the pressure and the expectation that comes from myself, from within, and onto the players, and they've got to be able to handle that if they want to have success, if they want to win games of football, if they want to be at the top of the league where this club really should be heading towards, then they're going to have to handle that just as much as I have. But well, I'm delighted that people think that that's a good appointment, but there's nothing achieved yet, and there's going to be a lot of hard work needs to be put in. And I think as well, Keith, a club appointment and not a short-term appointment. My career is, the longevity of it all has been based around 4 clubs from the early days so I'm into my fifth club. Let's work that one out. 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm there. Long day, Keith. I'm being brought in for the future, for the long haul, and all my ambitions can be achieved at this football club.
I know obviously you won't be too aware of what's going on in the past, but I think it was pretty well documented by Neil that he struggled at times to get the players in that he wanted to get, certainly over the last couple of transfer windows. Have you had assurances from above that you're going to be able to get who you want and that the club will go for those players?
Well, yeah, obviously financial fair play is huge now in the Championship, and we've got to run a sound ship, and there won't be any ridiculous gambles. You've seen the situation at a lot of the Championship clubs are in financial difficulties, points taken off from left, right and centre. So, Steve needs to do things in the right way, and I'm sure all the fans will understand that. All the Middlesbrough fans will understand that they don't want to be put in a position like in the past where you're having points deductions and you're having to sell all your players and end up in League Two. And there's certainly some huge football clubs that have been on that slippery slope. So we'll do it within reason, but the owner understands that the squad needs strengthening, and so does Kieran. So I'll work closely alongside Kieran as I've always done, to identify players that fit the way we play from different pools. Whether it's loan market. Well, I think we've had great relationships with the top guns. So I think that we'll be an attractive proposition for the best young talent to come and play in the Championship, and from other different areas that we can go and get players from.
Thanks, Chris. All the best.
Cheers, Keith. All the best, mate.
Jeff
Brown.
Hey, Jeff.
Chris, hiya. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Good man. You got a great reputation for promotion, for taking teams up. Is there a secret to it, or is it just getting the right people around you?
Right people around me. I've got great people around me. I've got a passionate fan base, which I've had before, and I'm looking forward to engaging with them as well. They want success. I want success. There's no secret. There's no magic formula. It's commitment. It's a lot of hard work and an ability to improve and get the maximum out of a group of players that I think are talented enough to be better than the position that they're in.
What about your own record at the Riverside? Has it been a good ground for you?
Next question. Thank you. I played once. I think I played in a League Cup game for Rotherham in my illustrious playing career. I think we got done. Sheffield United got done in one of the first early games of the season. 1-0 back into the Championship, and we won't talk about the last time I was up here. So hopefully, like to rectify that pretty quickly on Saturday, on next Saturday.
And just a word about Neil Warnock and the job that he did in pretty tough circumstances.
Well, we'll work in tough circumstances, don't we? Every manager has to work under tough circumstances as it is. So we all know the job and what it brings, the highs and the lows. So I think that's where I'm at with it.
Great. Good
Cheers.
stuff.
Thank you.
Take care, man. Hope we get to meet you in person one day.
No bother.
Time teas, please.
Hi Chris, Dominic here.
Hi Dom.
You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah. Just just one question for me, really. Where do you see the team finishing this season, and what do you think this current crop of players can achieve?
Let me just have a look at my crystal ball, Dom, see where we are. Listen, we'll give it everything we've got from myself and the players. That's what we demand and we expect and are given to run around and compete and give their everything in every single game. I can't predict anything. All I can predict is that my team will have a right go, and if it doesn't, then you guys will know about it and everybody will know about it, because that's what's happened in my previous jobs. That is a given for me. And if we can add that, if we can add an attitude to ability, which no doubt this team's got, then I'm sure we can win games of football. As I said, I think it's a wide open division. I do believe it'll be wide open right to the death. I think that you could still be, knocking around in March in mid-table and stick a run together and force your way into the playoffs. I think that's how it's going to be. I think a whole chunk of teams will win 15 games, lose 15 games, and draw 15 games. So I think that's where it's going to be, Dom. And for us to be successful this season, we've got to show that consistency, as I said, in performance, and hopefully that'll affect the results.
That's great. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers,
Good
Dom.
luck.
Thank you. Moosh. You've got a big smile at the moment, mate, haven't you?
Well, not often I speak to championship managers. I'm concentrating on top three in the Premier League.
Yeah, I know. Big time.
West Ham are massive. You must have read that.
How are you? Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, good. Good to see you.
Hope family well and everything.
All good.
Right, you united the club at Sheffield, both on and off the pitch. You had to reunite the club and bring everyone together. To that end, is your job a little bit easier at Middlesbrough, because you've only got to get it right on the pitch right now. Off the pitch, you haven't got the problems you had at Sheffield.
100%. Listen, you usually get a job and it's broken, isn't it? The jobs that I've had to take, usually the clubs, there's a reason for it. So this is a little bit different situation scenario to maybe the ones that majority, if not all, managers have to take on. So yeah, situation off the pitch is fabulous. It's stable, but we've still got to win games on it, and so and that's what Steve will want to happen, and all the guys in senior positions all be feeling and wanting disappointment to work as much as I do, and it'll only work if we do the business on the pitch, which I'm sure we can.
As you already alluded to, this is a ridiculously open league. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, Middlesbrough, Luton, Forest have all been Swansea either in the playoff or just 1 point off it, and then suddenly a defeat and you're back down to 12th or 13th. So it's promotion the aim, and is it an absolute must this season?
Well, no, it's not been any gun to my head to get up. I've got to say, if the door's open, we're going to step through it. But it's early days. We're talking we're what 15 games in or whatever it is. I don't know what we're in.
I think it's 12, 13.
12, 13 games in, whatever it is. So, third of the season, not even a third of the season. So there's a lot of football to be played, a lot of games to be played, and we'll not take the eye off the ball of the next one. I think that's how you've got to be in the Championship. You can't start looking ahead, and you've got to have ambition. You've got to have a dream, of course you do. And would we like to get out of this division this year? Of course, but there's another 22 clubs, 23 clubs that want to do the same, and we're in the pot with them, and they'll be all wanting to do what we want to do, which is win games of football consistently.
And the fact you're sat there talking to me today shows how precarious a profession you are in. In fact, the weekend showed it. Not only Neil Warnock going where you are, but also obviously Norwich and Villa changing their managers. To that end, why have you gone back? Because you were doing punditry work, you were on my TV on Match of the Day. Was there any ever thoughts of packing in the football manager where you can get sacked tomorrow and just taking the easy life?
Well, first, I wasn't sacked, just as a point. But I understand your question. I'm delighted I feel this way, that I want to be speaking to you on a Tuesday afternoon instead of walking the dog or playing golf or lining up something to do in the media. I've enjoyed my little bit of that. I've met some great people and worked with some great people, but this is me, Ian. 20 years in it, no break apart from the last one, and missed it enormously. I'm a football man. I want to get involved in it. As I said, I've missed it enormously, and be delighted and thankful for the opportunity I've been given at this great football club.
It's great to have you back, my friend.
Cheers, Ian. Take care, mate.
Scott Wilson, Northern Echo.
Hey, Scott.
Scott Wilson.
You're right.
Hey, Scott.
Just a couple. You talked there, Chris, about I think probably every manager says they hope that they're going to be in it for the long term. But actually, with Boro, a club that had a reputation for very, very little churn of managers, actually since they've dropped out of the Premier League, there's actually been quite a big churn of managers. And there's an argument maybe that the squad reflects that there are different managers have brought different players into the squad, and it doesn't necessarily hang together. Do you hope that this is a chance to be long term now?
Well, if you look at my record in my managerial career, I've not had, over 20 years, I've not had 20 clubs, 15 clubs. As you said, there's times where I've moved on, or times where I've made that decision. What I needed to make myself personally. I can't do anything about what's happened at the club in the past. All I go on is the opportunity and look forward, and that's the only thing that I'm looking to do at this particular moment.
And when you talk about, you touched on the squad and potential gaps maybe in January and things. One of the areas that has been a real struggle this season has been fullbacks. But there are 2 fullbacks out on loan who, it's been reported, have recall clauses in January. Is that something you've looked at yet? And presumably you'll have a look at all the players who are in the club, out of the club, and look at what you can do in terms of rebuilding the squad. I'm
manager of the football club, so Scott, I'll assess everything in the football squad, and first and foremost is to assess the players, whether they're out on loan, they're here on loan, the kids. Every player that's connected to this football club will be assessed, and we'll look through things absolutely thoroughly to make sure we get it right. Whether we bring players back, whether we keep them out, we'll try and make decisions on them. We will make decisions on them, not try to make decisions on them. And obviously still looking to January. I think the squad is a little bit unbalanced, which we'll try and balance up a little bit. Trying to construct a squad that's got competition, that's got the characteristics that I want physically and mentally, can play in a way tactically that we want to play or I want to see it, and technically good footballers that can play and dominate the ball and dominate possession and create chances, hopefully win games of football.
Brilliant. Well, good luck.
Cheers, Scott. Thanks very much.
Craig Jones, Teesside Gazette.
Hey, Craig.
Hiya, Chris. Welcome to the Boro.
Thank you.
Chris, just on the back of that, you mentioned the squad being a bit unbalanced and things like that, and I appreciate there's a few weeks until January. Is that a time where you're going to be really assessing the squad and what you need in January, or do you already come with a good idea?
I come with an idea and look at it. We're 24/7 assessing it already. In partnership with Kieran. Obviously his background is recruitment as well, so we've had lengthy talks about where we are. Is it imbalanced because of injuries? Of course it is. That has been an issue for the previous manager, so we've got to look at that as well, because we want the best players out on the pitch. So hopefully we can get to the bottom of that. It's difficult, and some are impact injuries that you can't do anything about, and some are, we have to look to see if there's any issues there to try and connect that department back into the football club, really. But it's an ongoing process all the time to make the club better, and it will never stop. It will never stop from January to the next window, to the next window, to the next window. But we like to think in the shortest possible time we can get to how I want it to look, and that's the aim and that's the challenge.
I mean, you've already touched there a bit as well on kind of backroom perhaps restructuring and things like that, and new managers often do like to bring their staff with them? You've already brought Alan with you, but are there any other kind of plans with the backroom team like that, or are you happy with what's already here?
No, like we talked about, we've talked to the staff. I'm very inclusive of the staff. I've done it in my previous clubs. They're the experts in their field, so it's about me getting the best out of the staff as much as getting the best out of the players as well, because that staff has got to support the players. So give them the best opportunity to put in good performances. But like I said, you have to try and get your best players out on the pitch, and you have to get as many of those players out healthy and competing to give you the strength in a squad that you need in this tough division. You're playing Saturday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's the load on the players is huge, and you have to have a robust squad that can compete in this division to get results.
Yeah, and just lastly from me then, Chris, on Alan, you've obviously brought him to the club with you, and I just I wonder how important do you feel he is to how you operate?
Yeah, the chemistry's good between us. I've known Alan a long time. He's somebody I can trust implicitly, which is really important to me. But I'll build new relationships with staff. I've done it before. It's not a sort of other managers that we can talk about that bring in 7, 8, and 9 of their staff into the football club. We've brought a video analysis guy that I work very closely with, that looks at the analysis part of it, and opposition and our team as well, that we've worked well with. And Matt Pressrich from a sports science background, Loughborough University, but still got a football background, working in academy football, and worked with us at Northampton at Sheffield United. So yeah, there's a couple of boys that we've brought in, but I'm looking forward to working with the staff as well, because it's important that we get the maximum out of them as well, and we get the structure right. And I think that's the reason that Steve has employed Kieran Scott, is to put a structure in place. And maybe in the past it hasn't, and maybe sort of gone from one manager to the other, and a change of style goes from one style to another style. And I think we all know what happens with that is a big turnover of players. So hopefully, we can put a structure in that and a way of playing, and an attitude to the way of playing that people enjoy, and I'm sure they will. That there's got a bit of longevity to it.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Cheers,
Chris.
Craig.
Duncan Wright.
Hi, Duncan.
Hi, Chris. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
It's interesting when you talked about looking at yourself in the mirror after Sheffield. What did you learn about? Because it had all been an upwards curve before the struggles of the last 6 months there. What have you learned from that experience?
A couple of things about myself that maybe I'd have done a little bit differently. So I don't want to put out there all my flaws to you, mate. So and there is a few of them, but yeah, I think it's important. You would possibly handle certain situations a little bit different. But listen, you don't always get it right, and you try and make as many right decisions than wrong decisions. But I think every decision that I always make will be an honest one, whether it's a selection of a player, whether it's a signing of a player, or leaving somebody out, or whatever it is. It's honest, and it's for the best for the football club. So, but I think it is important. We do reflect all the time. We reflect on the last training session. We've sat and had dinner. We've talked about today's training session. How did that go? What did people think? How can we make that better? We'll look at the week. We'll look at the game. We'll look at a batch of games. We'll look at half a season. We'll look at a season. We'll look at a window. Has that been successful? And I think it's really important that you keep on top. You're humble with it. You don't get yourself carried away with everything, and you try to improve right the way through, because this is a fast-moving game, and everybody's trying to get the edge on everybody else, and it's important that we keep up with everybody else too.
Cheers, Chris. I'll leave someone else.
Cheers, mate. Ta.
Simon Bird, the Mirror.
Hey, Simon.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good, thanks. You asked about what kind of went wrong, or what your regrets about Sheffield were. Can you tell us what the ingredients that you got right at Sheffield were, and how you can get that going at Boro?
Well, just honesty in performance, a way of playing that takes the game to the opposition. As I said, a structure in and out of possession. I think you've got to get both boxes right. The bit in the middle is really important as well, and And as I said, how do I want my team to look, our team to look? You know, how do Middlesbrough fans want to see their team looking? And I think it's important. And I think, you know, my values and ideals and the way of playing are very much matched to the area and previous sides that have been successful here. You know, front foot football. You know, we want to definitely win games at home. We want to make that a difficult place to come and play football, not make it an easy place for teams to come and pick our pockets. And you know, we're going to have to show a lot of qualities to win games in this division. But I think, as you said, I think you've seen what I've produced in the past, and it's got the balance right. And hopefully we can do that at Middlesbrough.
And during your break, you've obviously had a bit of interest from other clubs, and you've chosen Boro. Can you give us a number of how many clubs have been in for you? And feel free to name names, but I don't think you will.
No, yeah, there's been a few approaches, but as I said all along, you know, the next decision by myself had to be a really important one, and had to be the right one, and I'm delighted. I believe I'm delighted that Middlesbrough have approached me. That's all I can say, you know, and it's up to me now to produce the goods and the show of faith from Kieran and Neil Bowser, and more importantly the chairman in giving me this opportunity. You know, I'm all in to give back what they've given me, and hopefully I can do that.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Ian Murtagh.
Hey Ian.
Hello Chris, good luck in the job.
Thank you.
You're very much aware of the history of the club. In the last 20 years, several of your predecessors have described this job as one of the most enviable in English football. Now, because of the stability and because of the reputation of your chairman, now you're no longer in the Premier League and possibly don't have some of the money some people have had, but do you regard this as still one of the top 10, 15 jobs in English football?
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, there's some hugely powerful football clubs in the Premier League now, but you know, the history of the football club, it's spent a long period of its recent time in there, and that's where it wants to be. There's no guarantees, there's no givens. You know, there's no. You've seen it. You know, you've seen it locally. You know, from a Sunderland point of view and from a Newcastle point of view, they've found themselves out of the Premier League. There's no guarantees. You know, you've got to affect what you can affect, control what you can control. You find teams that you know, you look at a Brentford or a Bournemouth and find themselves in the Premier League. They've done it for a reason. So it's a unique football pyramid that if you sit back and rest on your laurels and just think you're a big club, and it's a given and a guarantee, then things happen to you. You start sliding, and on the other way, the beauty of the pyramid is that with a lot of hard work and a lot of expertise and people that are committed and passionate and want to do well, that you can find yourself one of these clubs that has done what Brentford have done and what a Bournemouth have done, and find themselves in arguably the best division in Europe.
And just one more question, Chris. In the past, have you ever been close to getting the Middlesbrough job before, or has there been a time when you've eyed the job saying, I fancy that one?
Well, no, I've worked passionately and been fully committed to all the jobs. You know, I'm a big believer. I just get my head down and work as hard as I possibly can for the club that employs me, and I've always done that. I've never tried to look and try to create a pathway for myself. Of course, I've wanted to work at the ice level, and I managed to do that, and I still want to do that now, and I do want to do that with Middlesbrough, and that's my ambition now. But I've never really thought, what I'll do is I'll have 2 years here and then I'll bounce into that job, and all of a sudden find it. I think that's a dangerous game to play, and it's something that I've never done.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Martin Hardy, The Times.
Hey, Martin.
Hiya, Chris. Good to see you.
Cheers, mate, and you.
Yeah, you too, mate. But the very best of luck.
Thank you.
What do you think you can achieve here?
I think we can achieve, you know, a successful football club, and one that can get itself back into the Premier League. I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm not going to make any any bold and ridiculous statements that we're going to do it in the next 6 months. But it's got to be an ambition. I spoke to the players today. It's got to be the ambition of everybody, and that's not disrespecting the Championship and the AFL, because the AFL is a fabulous competition, and the Championship is an incredibly tough division to get out of. But we all want to get back to playing the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United and the other big guns. And that has got to be ambition. If we, for me or the staff, the players, why don't they want to play at the highest level? The owner definitely has had a taste of it and had a consistent period in the Premier League, and most importantly, the supporters. They want to go to the Riverside. They want to see the big names come in. And their Middlesbrough team taking on these big names. As I said, it's a long way off at the moment, but we dare to dream, and we'll be giving it everything to try and make that dream happen.
Do you remember that time when Brian Robson was at the club and kind of the ground was full and you had exciting players coming, and it was Liverpool, Man United, everything? Is that where you want to get it back to?
Oh yeah, I mean it was an incredible period for the football club, and one that we shouldn't be scared of. Trying to repeat. I went to Nottingham Forest on Saturday, and the history of that football club, and I was speaking to one of their guys, and they've won 2 European Cups, and and I think somebody took all the pictures of the players that achieved that success off the walls, and I've never got that. I'd be proud of what Forest have achieved, be proud of what Leeds have achieved, be proud of what these clubs have achieved. I don't think it should hold anybody back, and it shouldn't hold our players back. There's an opportunity to create history. There's an opportunity to make some fabulous memories and have some fabulous experiences. But as I said, there's a load of hard work and in front of us. And but as long as we've got that ambition and we're connected and we're together, I'm sure that we can push on. I can't, as I said, Martin, I can't tell you what's in front of us. I ain't got no crystal ball, but there's a drive from the top. There's a drive from me, and if I can implement that and that rubs onto the players, there's a definite drive from the supporters to wanting to get back in there. They've had that taste of it, and I'm sure every team in the Championship will feel the same.
And obviously, Chris, words are easy, but potential Premier League club in waiting.
Words are easy, Martin, and we've got to go and win games of football like every team has in every division to have success. But as I said, everything will be piled into it. I'm all in for this. I'm as hungry as ever for this challenge. What has done, especially maybe in the last 6 months at my previous club, it's stoked the fire in my belly. It was there, but there's an hunger in myself and the staff to go again. We've had a break, and we want to go again, and get this football club not really up and running, because they're in a decent position. As I said, it's not a broken football club, and we're left with some good players, but there's still a hell of a lot of work and to do, and for me to put my stamp on the football club.
Best of luck, Chris.
Cheers, Martin. Thank you.
John Nicholson, Hartlepool, Mel, please.
Hey, Joe. Is it Joe or John?
Joe.
Joe, hey, Joe.
Nicholson.
Joe, sorry, I was just on mute. Yeah, it's Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Okay. Chris, you obviously spoke a lot about recruitment. With the balance with that, how much of it is it going to be you and your backroom staff looking at players, and how much is it going to be Kieran and the recruitment team looking at players to sign?
A collective effort, as it always is at every club. Would you believe? A collective effort through me and Kieran and his analysts, through the scouting team, through the recruitment team, however you want to call it, through to the chief exec, through to the owner. So it all has to be signed off. So I have an idea of the qualities and the characteristics that a Middlesbrough player needs, and want to play in our team needs as well. So a lot of hard work going into it, a lot of watching, a lot of networking, and a lot of thought going into, hopefully, to construct a team that will be powerful and competitive in this division.
And the club brought, obviously, you're going to be looking at all different sort sorts of markets. The club brought in quite a lot of players from abroad during the last summer, people like Piero and Sporra. Is that a market you're going to be looking at as well?
Every market, of course, we've got to get value for money, but every market we'll look at to improve the group. The group will want competition. I think any footballer worth the salt wants competition, wants to see the talented players, want to see other talented players being brought into the group. I think that's the only way that we're going to get better.
It's funny for me as well. The previous manager Neil just think about what a good kind of environment there is amongst the squad, what a good kind of group of players there are. Obviously, you've only been there a short time. Do you get that impression from just working?
Yeah, they're a talented group. We've had a positive first day at training. First impressions are really important. I'm expecting a standard, not just from a game point of view, but from a week point of view, from a training point of view. But they've set a really good standard today, and I'm sure they can match that and go above it. But there's a lot of information going into the players at the moment, and they've got to absorb it because there's different ways of playing, and everybody has their own preferred style, whether it's from a formation point of view or in possession or out of possession. So getting those messages over quickly, it might seem quite a long time till the next game, but it quickly goes because you've got to get all the different aspects of your week into your week, and making sure I want to get off to a good start. I want the football club to get off to a good start under me in my reign as a manager.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Leon Mobshelly, post.
Hey, Leon.
Hello, Chris. You all right?
Yeah, good mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad. You're someone you've always known your football history, Chris, not just to do with the blades and everything. I think I remember you saying when Peter Bregreen was an ex-teammate of yours, you've known what historically this club's sort of gone through, haven't you? It's had some real big ups and downs, hasn't it?
Yeah, Biggs came to Sheffield United in I think it was '86. I played against a young Middlesbrough side, a Pallister, a Mowbray, a Colin Cooper, Bernie Slaven, John Hendry team. I don't know if I've missed anybody. Well, obviously I have because that's about six. But and I think as well, you look back at that team. It was a talented team, but it had hunger and desire about him, and he was competitive. But he wanted to play as well. So that's that's for me. That's an ideal team, not that team, but an ideal way of playing. Be effective, wanting to play in the right way, but wanting to be competitive as well and represent that badge in the right way. And certainly back in 86, 87, I think would Bruce been the manager then? Those days. So it was always a tough game. We got smashed up at Ayresome Park, the old Ayresome Park, and I think we had a tight game at Bramall Lane, 86, 87. But the area's always produced talented footballers. I think pound for pound when you look at it in terms of the talent coming through the academy as well. Players want to play for this football club. Local boys want to play for Middlesbrough, which I'm delighted about, and hopefully we can dominate our area, and it's that's something that we'll be looking to connect back to the football club as well. Is the link between the academy. I know young Josh has got played recently, and Isaiah and a couple of other guys have had opportunities, but when I spoke to the young men at the under-23 game on Sunday, there's definitely a pathway for them to get in, but only if their attitude's right and they're good enough. And I'm sure their attitude be right, and hopefully there'll be some gems that we can pick out of there.
Yeah, and just a second, I was going to ask you, this club at its best, it's been one when everyone's been together, but it's been a really intimidating place to come, whether it's the Riverside or you remember Ayresome Park as well. Yeah. It's about making it intimidating in a good way, if you like.
Yeah, I'd like to expand on that a little bit more, but I can't. I'd like to. Yeah, listen, it ain't gonna be Galatasaray. Welcome to hell, but because it's a fabulous stadium. I don't want anybody easily coming in and rolling the ball around. They're gonna have to go through all of us. They're gonna have to go through the team, the staff, and more importantly, the passionate supporters, and that's I think that it gives the players such a lift if the players are on side, but the players have got to earn that trust and earn that right. And I'm looking forward to the game on next Saturday. But it's about what we do on the park, and the players play in the manner which I believe they can, and be consistent with that right the way through. Then I'm sure we can expect some enjoyable times, Ed. There's always going to be down days. It's how you recover from that, but definitely wanted to make it all those words that you've described it, and hopefully we can.
Very best of luck, Chris.
Cheers, Leon. Good to see you again, mate.
And last but not least is Rob Nichols from Fly Me to the Moon.
Rob.
Hi, Chris. Great to hear all those words. I'm from Fly Me to the Moon, from the fanzine, and I actually live at Ayresome Park. So.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. It really sounds very exciting what you were saying about the ambition and the being competitive and all sort of and consistent. Have we got a lot of reasons to be excited from the very start, do you think, as fans?
Well, I'm excited. So, I'd like to think that this appointment's gone down well. I can't, listen, there's always going to be people that possibly think in it on a different way, and that's the beauty of football, and that's the beauty of opinions from supporters. But I'm coming here for a reason. I think my track record, my past track record, hopefully gives the supporters optimism that I can get the club to where it wants to be, in a manner and a style that they'll enjoy and enjoy coming back. It's tough times, especially in the north. We all know that, but I know how much the supporters of Middlesbrough love the football, and the area loves the football. It's not divided. It's not wanting to do different things. It is the big thing. It is the biggest sport. It's the football that they love, and hopefully we can put on and show them what we're all about, and the supporters will get right behind them. I'm sure they will. As much as we like a great a through ball and a fantastic half volley and a Cruyff, we like a big header, we like a big tackle, and we like people to be competitive. And I think that's the area, that's the characteristics of the area, that's the history of the players that we've talked about, and that's something that I want to bring to the football club.